In today's Leeds news, fallout from the FA Cup, Rangers hope Leeds link helps recruitment, this weekend's Loan Watch, youth involvement in first team training, and rumour mill stories on Leo Scienza. Morning folks, welcome to the Leeds View for Monday the 6th of April. I hope you're all doing well. I've had a really good weekend. A very unusual game yesterday in the FA Cup emotional wise. Ups and downs as always with Leeds United. We will be in the semi-final and we have been drawn against Chelsea. You can check out last night's instant match reaction after the game. I was knackered after doing the watch along over and big up and then coming across and doing this. It was, a lot of people text in afterwards saying they just gotten home after coming back from London and how tired they were from being at the ground, and those watching it went through an emotional roller coaster as well. But we are in there. We got a lot of fallout from that to talk about as well. Check out okjersey.com, by the way, for our partnership with them. There is a code TView at the checkout for 8% off of the shirts that are there. And World Cup shirts for a World Cup summer. You can check out all the details down there below. Also, if you are ordering off OK Jersey, my advice is order a size bigger than you would normally get, the size a little bit small, but good quality shirts. Let's move on. Let's start off with the fallout of the FA Cup from last night, and there's a huge amount of stuff just to give you some details on, not just opinion stuff, but injuries and fixture changes and everything that are associated with this one. The first one to get stuck into straight away is the fixture change. So Leeds were due to play Bournemouth on the 25th. That will now be moved as the FA Cup clash will take place on that date against Chelsea at Wembley. That game has now been moved forward and will be played between the 21st and 23rd of April. Not confirmed just yet. For Leeds' sake, hopefully it's on Tuesday the 21st, which gives them a little bit of a turnaround before they play Wolverhampton Wanderers and Bournemouth, which will be two very important games for Leeds United in the course of the Premier League season. But in that spell of time, Leeds will have 3 matches in just 8 days. They'll host Burnley first, then play the FA Cup game, and then we'll have Bournemouth and then Wolverhampton Wanderers. There's a lot of games coming up thick and fast, and that squad will want to be used. And given how some players like Willie Gnonto and now Tanaka played yesterday when they were involved in the game, they should be used a hell of a lot more between now and the run-in. That's that out of the way. There's a lot of stuff to get sorted out. The official date for that move hasn't happened yet. We'll give you the detail when it does. From an injury perspective as well, there's a little bit to talk about. Noah Okafor, good news on him. He's fine. Daniel Farke has just confirmed it was a little bit of cramp, just down to his lack of game times in his recovery coming back from injury. But he is good and fine and will be available for the game next Monday against Manchester United, unless anything happens during the week. The more serious one was Anton Stach, who has picked up a ligament issue in his ankle. And Daniel Farke said that they need to assess this. He was put in a boot and given crutches after the match as a precaution to stop him doing any further damage to the ankle and any movement in it. So that will be assessed over the course of the week. Anton Stach has shared images online of his ankle looking pretty nasty and very, very swollen as well. So hopefully it's just a roll. It's not too serious, and a bit of an ice bath and a week recovery will get him back ready for the game against Manchester United. So fingers crossed he's got a little bit of time on that one. Joe Rodon is the other player who's a bit of concern about. Daniel Farke has confirmed that he rolled his ankle in the game against West Ham United and was taken off. But it's just a roll, he said. Hopefully it's not too bad. We'll see how it goes. No boot for Joe, so fingers crossed it's not that bad. And again, there's a decent bit of time between now and Monday night's game, and Joe's got fantastic powers of recovery. So fingers crossed he can bounce back pretty quickly. Right. Now there's the referee decisions in the game and the VAR explanations. So the penalty shout for Max Kilman's challenge on Anton Stach, which caused the injury to Stach that went off on half-time. Injured then, the officials said that it was a natural coming together between the two players, and that's why a penalty wasn't given. Kilman was sliding in to attempt to block the shot. Anton Stach got the shot away, and then they came together. Now, this is a mixed bag when it comes to opinion. Ali McCoist on commentary for TNT Sports believes it wasn't a penalty and was a natural movement and was glad it wasn't given. Clinton Morrison, speaking for BBC Sport, he believed it should have been given as a penalty, but says you don't see these tackles given, and that's probably why it wasn't given. But he said for him, should have been a penalty. Now, then there's the West Ham United equaliser. There's a lot going on in this game. There's a huge amount of drama. But the VAR decided that the goal should stand for Disasi's touch ahead of Pascal Stroke. However, former referee Keith Hackett believes that the goal should have been ruled out and a free out to Leeds should have been given. Now, given the Pascal Stroke is 6'4", roughly thereabouts, and Disasi's foot was higher and Stroke was slightly off the ground, that's a very high foot. It's a really, really high foot. And Keith Hackett says any foot of that height going in at that angle is endangering the safety of a player, and for that alone is the reason why it should have been ruled out. So we had to battle past the referee, those decisions before we even got to that. And there was some stuff that went on before the game as well. So there was a lot of drama in the match. And there was a story that came out just before kickoff that a West Ham United safety officer had told Leeds that penalties couldn't be taken in front of the Leeds United fans due to safety concerns and would have to be taken in front of the West Ham fans. Now, ultimately, by the time it got to that stage, they had rolled back on that. A coin toss happened, and Leeds ultimately still ended up taking the penalties in front of the West Ham United fans and won there, which was great. But Daniel Farke really wasn't happy about this. And you know when Daniel Farke is not happy, he says things without saying things. And speaking after the game, he said these things. If I'm not completely wrong, a safety officer signed a document that out of safety reasons, we can't take penalty shootout in front of our supporters. It has to be in front of the West Ham supporters. You can imagine what I think about such a situation. We play in the Olympic Stadium and also a stadium where the stands are the furthest away from the pitch of any other stadium. If then a safety officer signs such a document to more or less have an advantage to have the penalty shootout in front of their fans, you can perhaps think about what I think about this as a situation. But I won't comment about this because I want to show some class, especially after the win right now, and not to speak about this. Now, he did speak about it, despite the fact that he said he didn't want to speak about it. And there's a huge amount between the lines you can read there. He's not happy about this. He went on to say that each and every club have their own situation when it comes to these, have their own procedures when it comes to these situations. But Leeds have never signed such a document and would never sign such a document. And the Ellen Road crowd are on top of the pitch pretty much. He also went on and finished by saying, you can imagine what I think about such a situation. So he's letting everyone read into what he thinks about it. It's clear as day he's not happy about it. And the fact that it happened before the game, designed to kind of throw off Leeds' preparations before the match, isn't good. And you look at all the stuff that went on, that's a bit tin potty. Fans leaving the stadium early and then trying to get back in, also a bit tin pot as well. So, yeah, I'm just glad we got past them. I'm glad we beaten them. Let's go down there the last game of the season and beat them again. So, Daniel Farke, by the way, has joined some pretty elite company and becoming the fourth Leeds United manager to get Leeds United to an FA Cup semi-final. He joins Don Revie, Jimmy Armfield and Billy Bremner in that mix. So well done to Daniel Farke and to all the lads yesterday. Got over the line. That's all that matters. We'll move on. Joe Gelhardt's future is a constant developing story, and last week he said that he would like to stay at Hull City, and we know that Hull City would like him to stay at the club at the end of the season as well. But there is more interest in Joe Gelhardt. There's a lot of murmurings and rumours floating around. But Leeds Live today have a piece that claims that Glasgow Rangers had some interest in Joe Gelhardt prior to the 49ers Enterprises investing in the club, and since then that interest has increased. According to Leeds Live, talk of interest in Joe Gelhardt intensified over the course of the weekend, and they believe that Rangers are eager to make a play to sign Joe Gelhardt this summer. Leeds Live believe that Rangers would likely be in a much stronger financial position than Hull City and could meet Leeds United's requirements in terms of a fee more so than Hull did. Also, they believe that Leeds United may be happier to deal with Glasgow Rangers given the relationship between Leeds United chairman Parag Marathe, Rangers chairman and owner Andrew Kavanagh, given that the two of them sat on the board before Parag Marathe stepped down recently due to multi-club model concerns. Now, this all depends on Leeds United's survival in the Premier League next season. If Leeds get relegated, you're likely want to hang on to a player like Joffy, who has had such a good season in the Championship this year. But for now, it's just interest from Scotland at this point. From Leeds' financial standpoint, the more clubs that get involved in this, the better it will be for Leeds. There's been a huge amount of talk of clubs from the Championship that are interested in Joffy as well. And now with Rangers getting involved in that, the more that are involved, the more his price will go up and the better situation it is for Leeds, because he's going to be sold this summer if Leeds stay in the Premier League. They pretty much all but confirmed that. So now it's a case of getting the maximum amount of money that they possibly can. But we'll move on again to this weekend's Loan Watch. Mateo Joseph started on the bench for Mallorca in their 2-1 home win against Real Madrid. But he did come off the bench in the 70th minute and got the assist for their winner in that game, and that moves them out of the relegation zone. Largi Ramazani started and played 90 minutes for Valencia in their 3-2 home loss against Celta Vigo. Isaac Schmidt was an unused sub for Werder Bremen as they lost at home 2-1 to Red Bull Leipzig. Max Verber was expecting to be back for this game, but he's still listed as injured at this point. Joe Gelhardt started, played 64 minutes in Hull City's 1-1 draw with Oxford. Harry Gray played 90 minutes for Rotherham in their 0-0 draw with Stevenage. And Rory Mahady was an unused sub again for Scunthorpe in their 0-0 draw at home to Hartlepool. Jack Harrison started and played 90 minutes for Fiorentina. and provided the assist as they won 1-0 away to Verona. They're now 5 points clear of the bottom 3 spaces. Alex Baird played 90 minutes and got a clean sheet for Bridlington Town in their 7-0 win against Blyth. Daryl Ombank plays today for FC United of Manchester. Conor Douglas started and played 72 minutes for Buxton as they lost 4-2 at home to Macclesfield. And Kenneth Mensah came off the bench for his debut for Scarborough Athletic. He played 11 minutes as they won 2-1 away at Darlington. Let's talk about some youth involvement in training, and several of Leeds United's under-21 side have been involved in senior training last week and into this week as well. And it's a fantastic opportunity for them when this does happen. It's a huge part of their development and progression as well, and just gives them a bit of a flavour around the first team. And also gives Daniel Farke a chance to have a look at the under-21 players and see if they're at the level, or will ever be at the level, of a first team Premier League side. Jayden Lenu, who was having a fantastic season for the under-21 since he joined from Manchester City in the summer, was involved, as well as Alfie Creswell, who has been involved pretty much over the course of this season. Rhys Chadwick back involved with the first team as well. And 17-year-old centre-half Jacob Howard, who captained England's under-17s last week and has been receiving a lot of praise for his performances in the under-21 side at just 17, just gone 17 years of age. So great to see it. Doesn't mean they're going to be involved in any first team action, but it does give you a little bit of an indication of who they're keeping an eye on and who the more prevalent under-21 players are at this point. But again, as I say, it's great for the development and it's great for their progression. But we'll move on. We'll jump into some rumour mill territory, and it's Leo Scienza, or Scienza, I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced, but Leeds Live believe that Southampton's Brazilian attacking midfielder Leo Scienza is a target of Leeds United this summer. Scienza has been described as unplayable recently as Southampton's form has turned around, and they've gone to just 1 point outside the Championship playoffs, and they still have a game in hand, so they could very easily jump back in to those playoff spots. Scienza is naturally a winger, but he has been playing more as a number 10 under manager Tonda Eckert, and been a huge part of their turnaround in form this season. His performances against Arsenal, and specifically the performance he put in against Ben White, has been called out for a huge amount of praise and shown what he could potentially do if he was involved in a Premier League environment. Transfermarkt have his transfer value at in and around £8.7 million, but according to the Daily Echo, they believe that if anyone is to get him, they're going to have to give Southampton in and around £20 million. Scienza is a 27-year-old. This season, he started 26 games for Southampton. He's got 6 goals and 8 assists, so 14 G&A in 26 starts is nothing to be ashamed of at all. It's a really, really strong output from him already this season, with still plenty of games left to play. He's an interesting one. He is a Championship player at this point, but he does have some Bundesliga experience. He played 36 times for Bundesliga side Heidenheim, so Leeds like to have a look at Bundesliga players. They've been pretty successful in the Premier League, so maybe Leeds do have a look at them. We'll keep a note of them. We'll keep an eye of the source as well, and at the end of the year, when the window opens, we'll see if any of these are actually true. But we'll keep building up a short list, and we'll do some detail on that once the season is wrapped up and closed. That is it for today, folks. No podcast tonight. It will be out tomorrow night instead. It's bank holiday here. Got some bits to do. And you can check out last night's instant match reaction if you want to get my thoughts on the game after a crazy night at the London Stadium for Leeds United. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you later on. See you. Bye.